Hello, Pioneers. Welcome back to Satisfactory 1.0. I'm Fantastic Mr. Ghost. And boy, did we accomplish a lot in the last episode. We, as in me. At long last, all 4 of these trains are filled with products. Steel beams, pipe, plastic, and rubber. All needed to complete the Project Assembly Tier 9. In order to fill those trains, steel needed to be connected, divided out, and distributed to the pipe and the steel beams machines. And an 800 rubber and plastic build had to be done as well. That was a lot of work. In order to utilize all those steel ingots, however, I needed to expand and or add to the wet concrete build. So I added 5 additional refineries for an additional 400 concrete. Now that plastic's on the train, we can continue on with our iron plate production. 32 machines of coated iron plate for a total of 2,400 iron plate a minute. Now the iron plate is on a train, as well as the deuterium and copper ingots. 3 items checked off the list. Feels good. Well, remember this power plant? Yeah, I kind of forgot about it too. Well, I came over here to add capacity. And the reason for that was the turbo power plant that's eating the compacted coal coming from here as a byproduct was not working 100%. So I decided, well, let me just add one more fuel generator. So I did. So now we have a clean 191, almost 2 gigawatts of power. That should hold us off for quite some time. While I was here, I noticed that the sulfur was having issues. So I had to add a case on the output of one of the sulfur miners so that the train would have enough sulfur to pick up. And it seems like the problem has been fixed. We'll keep an eye on it though. So according to my observations, the turbo power plant is happy. Now, you're going to notice a lot of map markers up on top of the screen here. I went out on a little explorer mission and found all of the bauxite that I could find. That will tie into our aluminium processing project. More on that later, because today I want to work on getting copper ingots for steamed copper sheets. I consider that an intermediate. So let's get that done, because it's easy to knock it off the list, and then maybe aluminium will come in the next episode, or maybe this one. Who knows? After months, maybe years, I finally found a location to do the steamed copper sheets. In the Dune Desert. Once the build is in place, I'll pull the rail over here and pick up the copper sheets to bring them to the space elevator building platform. Conveniently, there is a pure iron and copper patch right here, but I have a dilemma. The dilemma is that with the 2 pure copper and iron patches here, I can produce 2,400 copper ingots a minute. That equates to just over 106 refineries. I don't think I'm going to need 2,400 copper sheets a minute for the project here. And the water requirement is insane. A part of my exploration here, I found all this bauxite in the swamp. So running 2 1,200 speed belts to 2 separate aluminium builds should suffice. I can tap 1 iron and 1 copper pure mines in the swamp. However, I won't need to do that if I train down the extra copper ingots to the swamp here, and I'll just produce the intermediates here in the water. I have a platform already set and the rail is running along the water now, so it'll be an interesting project there. The tough part about these 2 builds are they require water, and I don't want to do any head lifting, so I want to build at sea level, and that's the goal here, and I think I can accomplish that. So let's get started on steamed copper sheets. Alrighty, Pioneers, here we go. It's time to do the smelting column. I have a feeling I'm going to be doing this more than 1 time, or 2 times, or 3, or 4. So there's the platform. We're going to be doing 24 refineries for a total of the 2,400 copper ingots a minute using the alloy. And there we go. Floor number 1 is getting off the ground. Now I need walls to get the height for the second floor. I'm doing 12 and 12. Did I mention I love these lift holes in the lifts? Now for second floor, doing a total of 12. Make sure everything fits nice before I go and do the whole thing. Let's merge the outputs just to get an idea of where I'm standing here. I usually do 2 at a time, and then once I'm set, I'll go all ham. Now this part here, I got really freaking annoyed not being able to levitate with the hover pack. Comes to find out that well, I set up one biomass burner, the hover pack wouldn't work. So then what I did is I find out that the hover pack is 100 megawatts. So I put a second biomass burner down and then slooped the first one so I can get at least 100 megawatts so I could float around. Because building this thing without a hover pack is terrible. It's horrible. So here we go. Hooking up the second floor belts, trying to polish this off here. And now I'm going to tie in the copper and iron inputs here. I didn't realize I was that close to the rock. Whoops. Now we'll lift them up. To lift the copper and the iron up, belt it up, pop them in. There we go. So here I'm establishing the output of the second floor. I have to rework that. Once I get the belts in, then that curve will be a lot better. Or I'm going to reposition that merger. And here I'm putting power in so I could levitate and get the foundations in for the refineries. There will be a total of 30 for now. I can go to the full 53 if I want. We'll see what the numbers look like once I get to the end game here and trying to tie everything in and do all the things that need the copper sheets. One of the toughest parts about Satisfactory is, fighting. The environment is always fighting with you. I mean, it just sits there and thumbs its nose at you. So here, I'm putting in a T and reestablishing the connection to the swamp line. I'm okay with the swamp line now. I guess it's okay. Because now that I found the bauxite and all the copper and iron and all the resources in the swamp, it's going to be pretty good, and there's plenty of water there. Now I'm establishing the line to get to the steamed copper sheet loading area and powering up the smelters here. Now it's time to flow the copper and iron. Let's go. And it's alive. 2,400 copper ingots a minute. Gotta love it. Now I'm over at the refineries here. We're going to pipe it up. The numbers work out to 112.5 water per minute for 5 refineries. So that's what I'm going to do is tie 5 in and pop a water extractor. I'm going to clock it to 112. But I might just leave it at the default 120 just to make sure the water is available. A lot of repetition here. Now let's power the water extractors up and get those flowing. It's a very awkward place to build, but it'll work. Here's the merging of the outputs. Figured I'd knock that out now. I got a little clipping with the power wires for some reason, but I'm going to leave it. And here's where the train platform will go. I'm not happy with the spacing here, so I might change the positioning of this train stop once I see how things are going to work out with picking up the ingots, because I'm going to take these ingots and go to aluminium and try and utilize them there, but I might have to do more copper for all of the aluminium products we're going to be doing. And now let's hook up the rail line, the main line, to the train stop. Now I did flip this around. The direction, I hate one-headed trains, single-headed trains, because I like to go in, unload, and pull out the same way I came in. I do that in Factorio because it's just so much more efficient on the rail. And in Factorio, it's not that bad, but I really just like to pop in, pop out like a stub. It's so much easier. And I know that, yeah, I'm dragging a train behind me, but I prefer it. You know, it's 6 1/2 dozen the other. And yes, this is the problem with going off grid, because I didn't build the smelting on the same grid as the steam copper sheets, but it works out because the belt will curve. And there we go, steam copper sheets. The copper ingots have been housed. Now they're connected to the case and the train. Come with me as I travel to the spooky swamp. Don't mind the spaghetti unless you have a fork. Oh, the foggy fog. Let the bauxite processing begin. In this area here in the swamp, we have one miner that is 1200. One miner that is 600, and one that is 300. Pretty awkward numbers, except for the 1200. In the middle, there is a 600. Over to the left is a 300. It's an impure. And you'll notice that there is a belt right here. This belt is combining two miners way off in the distance. Just outside the swamp, here are the remaining miners for bauxite. 300 and 600 for a total of 9. So I combined them and married it to, or merged it to, the 300 impure. So that means we have two 1200 plus an additional 600 bauxite. That will funnel into our aluminium plant, 15 refineries processing all of this aluminium. Once I get all the scrap, then I will divide it out in such a way that it will make sense to make the entire build aluminum or aluminium ingots. Remember, we need aluminium ingots, all clad, and the casings. It's a nice clear day in the swamp for a change, and as you can see, this is the rail line that I brought in so that we can access water and keep it at sea level. My plan is to bring in the copper ingots all the way at the end, and then the bauxite will come in at different segments of the build. So it will be 6, 6, and 3 somewhere over here. Let's get started. Oh, great sulfur gods, please give me sulfur. Before I get too crazy here, let's explain what I'm doing right now. This is an impure sulfur patch. I would like to grab this and combine it with some other sulfur patches for later use. So I created a T, and I'll put a miner down here and a train stop in the future if I need it. And now I have a signaling nightmare with 2 T's. This first T that's going off in the distance there will be for the copper ingots. Let's get started. So we need to make room for copper ingots. Let's do that. fancy loop. There we go. Now time for an ingot train. Let's go for a ride. Now these copper ingots won't be used for a while. We got a long way to go. Now I'm gonna fight with these darn water extractors, and I forgot that they are quite wide. So this is version 2. I cut out all my other idiotic flubs. Now a part of me is thinking, after I built this, well, I only need 60 water for each one of these refineries. Maybe I could go 2 to 1 and limit the flow to 120. But I don't trust Satisfactory's fluid dynamics, and I have a feeling that the system would back up on me. So it's better to just do one water extractor, limit it to 60, limit it with a flow valve, and make sure the thing works. Time for the inputs for the bauxite and the coal, which, believe it or not, I forgot about coal. Yeah. Now these stands here are for bringing in the bauxite and clearing train traffic. Direct piping, good to go. And loop the water output back to the input. And I don't think there's anything wrong with making sure that the water extractors do not overfill the pipe, because I've had problems with this system before in the past. And so far it's been working good with what I have. And here's the final connection. And I have to do this 15 times. Let's go get the bauxite. Oh, it's so delicious. Now this is only 300, so I have to connect the other 2 mines for a total of 12. Now I went ahead and built the other ones out, so here is bank number 2. And now bank number 3. This is 600, and the whole build is complete. Alrighty, it's time to connect the coal train. And a case to hold the coal while the train unloads. And boom. Now it's time to go get this coal. And it's a very wonderful shoreline water train. I love these. Oh, a Mercer's Fair. Now I can't put my jigs down here in the water because it's too deep. So I had to put some concrete slabs across so I could put the jigs on top, and it worked out real well. Now for a platform for the coal loading. This is a pure coal patch. I need a total of 900, so, an extra 300 won't hurt. Hook it up. I had to redo some rail here because of the turnabout and the positioning. No worries. And we're done. Power it up and flow the coal. Let's enjoy the ride. And finally, we got coal. Let's hook the water extractors up. And the final design for the smelting of the aluminum scrap to ingots. All the splitters are placed. Now let's hook them up. Merge the outputs. We're almost done. At least with this one. I gotta do 14 more of these damn things. Flow it, and we're done. Finally. Alright, Pioneers, I think that should do it. There is the setup for the Alooominum Ingots. So off screen, what I'll do is I'll finish all this out. Yeah. So, the splitters here and the mergers are just to make sure that it fit. So I kept going. But this is going to be the final design. You know, we don't need a merger or a splitter at the ends and the beginning. So that's how that'll look for all of the remaining 14. Wow, that was a lot of work, folks. I think this spanned, this is about, with the copper and everything here, doing all this stuff with the mining and all this, must have taken me a day and a half. And I squished it all into whatever this is going to be, under 25 minutes or so. So next episode, we'll carry on. And the plan here is I was going to this is a one way in, one way out. I didn't do a intersection here. It didn't work very well. I wanted to get all the pickups over here off of this area, but what I'll do is I'll put a maybe an intersection here, and I'll design the rail to pick up the ingots straight out, because we're going to need those, like I said, for, I just want to make sure I have them, because there might be a recipe that I do want to use. I may change my mind. The one I'm looking at here is this one. This is the heat fused frame. I'm not too much of a fan of, right now, I just don't want to deal with this. This is how I'm thinking now, but I may change my mind. But what I like about it is it's 3 per minute. I've done the nitric acid way back, but there doesn't seem to be very much of a need for it now. I was talking about this in the last episode, I think it was. So it's just iron plate and water and the nitrogen. Now I have nitrogen on a train right now. I'll go over that in the next episode. I forgot to go over that in this episode. That's fine. We have plenty of iron plate, so I could do this on site where the space elevator will be. So it doesn't look too bad. And, you know, we get a really, we double the yield on this. So instead of 1.5, I think, let's check it out. Yeah, so it's 1.5 a minute using the method I am currently using in the hub. And it, you know, it's 50%, it's 100%, you know, increase. The complexity, of course, is the nitric acid and the fuel. Now, I have fuel that I can produce in the big area, in that area where the oil is. So I have an impure and a normal patch, as well as a pure still left over there. So simply put, all I have to do is cut a train in, and then do a basic, what would it be? It would be heavy oil residue to fuel. And I would get the, I think, polymer resin. I could turn that into rubber and then combine it with the rubber belt. So then it'll be plastic. I have the polymer resin going to plastic, and then I'll have one going to rubber. So instead of doing all plastic, because I'm going to need more rubber than plastic right now. So yeah, I am leaning towards this alternate heat fused frame just for the 3 a minute. And I think it'd be kind of fun. I do like the complexity in the recipes. So the nitric acid would be done on site because I'm bringing already the iron plate in. And I already have nitrogen on the train, like I mentioned. So it should be pretty doable. So that is it. So I'll finish this out. Next episode, I'm thinking quartz. I wanted to get that done. And there's nitric acid for a really good quartz mine. Let's take a look at that really quick. Here is this one right here. This one right here, quartz purification. And it uses the nitric acid. So if I were to do this one, see, the problem is that I'm not set up for it. I'd like to do, like I said, I wanted to do it on site. But, you know, now that I am looking at this, I might do the nitric acid in that oil field area because I can do the fuel and I have nitrogen on site. So I can train this nitric acid to a quartz field. Somewhere over here is quartz. It's right by where this waterfall is, and there's a hard drive that I got. So I was planning on doing that over here. So I will assess that area and we'll try to tackle that next episode. So I want to thank you for watching this one. Hope you enjoyed. Peace out.